Welcome to Global Watch. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. The American love affair with the automobile is being rewritten, this time, not by innovation or design, but by the shifting tides of global politics and economics. For generations, cars have been more than just machines in the US. They've been symbols of freedom, prosperity, and the open road. But now, that story is being told not on highways, but in the language of tariffs, trade disputes, and diplomatic standoffs. Headlines blare about new taxes and retaliatory measures, while ports and borders become battlegrounds for economic power. Volkswagen, the legendary brand behind the Beetle and Jetta, cars that once defined an era of American motoring, has announced it will halt exports of its most popular vehicles to the US. This move is a direct response to the Trump administration's aggressive new trade policies, which have upended decades of international cooperation. This isn't just about missing models on dealer lots, it's a symbol of rising tensions with America's closest trading partners and a crack in the foundation of global commerce. The absence of these cars is a visible sign of invisible economic battles being waged behind closed doors. The decision reverberates from factory floors in Mexico, where thousands of workers assemble vehicles for export, to boardrooms in Germany, where executives weigh the risks of a fractured market. Ultimately, it lands squarely on American workers and consumers, who face fewer choices and higher prices. As other carmakers watch nervously, weighing their own futures, the world wonders, could this be the beginning of a larger trade war? One that might reshape the global economy for years to come. The story of Volkswagen's exit is more than a business decision. It's the story of a globalized world, grappling with a new era of economic nationalism, where every trade policy has the power to change lives across continents. This crisis didn't erupt overnight. It has been brewing for decades, with tensions simmering beneath the surface. It's the result of years of rising protectionism in the US, accelerating after 2017. The seeds were planted long ago, but recent years have seen these issues come to a head. The Trump administration argued that foreign automakers benefited from unfair trade, leading to stricter policies and a push to reshore production. This marked a significant shift in trade policy, aiming to protect domestic industries. The US-Mexico-Canada agreement raised the bar, introducing new standards and regulations that reshaped the landscape of North American trade. To avoid tariffs, vehicles needed 75% North American content, a challenge for Volkswagen's globally sourced models. This requirement forced many companies to rethink their supply chains. Volkswagen, both a major importer and US manufacturer, invested billions in America, building new facilities and creating jobs. But despite these efforts, the company still found itself caught in the crossfire of escalating trade tensions. The warning signs came in late 2024, when VW announced it would stop exporting certain German-made models to the US. This was a clear indication of the growing strain on international trade. By early 2025, the administration escalated further, deploying its most powerful economic weapon, tariffs and sanctions. This set the stage for direct confrontation, with both sides digging in their heels. The automotive sector, once a model of global integration, now faces a fundamental challenge to its way of doing business. The interconnected nature of the industry is under threat. The trade war's roots run deep, tracing back through decades of economic policy and international relations. But its consequences are immediate, affecting jobs, production, and the global economy in real time. On April 3, 2025, the Trump administration shocked the global auto industry by imposing a sweeping 25% tariff on all imported cars entering the United States. The announcement sent immediate ripples through financial markets and boardrooms around the world, as automakers scrambled to assess the impact of this unprecedented move. The new tariff didn't just target finished vehicles, it also included the steel and aluminum used to build them, hitting the industry at its very foundation. Suddenly, the cost of manufacturing and importing cars skyrocketed overnight. For Volkswagen, this was a devastating blow. Executives faced an impossible choice: pass the massive new costs onto American consumers, risking plummeting sales, or absorb the losses themselves, threatening jobs and future investments. The uncertainty was palpable, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Chaos erupted at US ports almost immediately. Volkswagen and Audi halted the processing of vehicles arriving from Mexico, leaving thousands of cars stranded on docks, unable to reach dealerships or customers. The logistical nightmare grew by the hour. In 2024, Mexico exported nearly 2.7 million vehicles to the US, a lifeline for American dealerships. For Volkswagen, models like the Jetta and Tiguan, built in Mexico, were the backbone of its US growth strategy. Now that pipeline was suddenly in jeopardy. The new tariff instantly made these vehicles uncompetitive, pricing them out of the market and shutting off a critical supply chain. Dealerships faced empty lots, and unsold cars began piling up, threatening the livelihoods of thousands of workers. By the end of April, the shockwaves had reached Europe. Major automakers, including Volkswagen, suspended their financial forecasts, citing extreme market volatility and a future clouded by uncertainty. Investors and analysts braced for more bad news. The 25% tariff wasn't just a tax, it was a declaration of economic war. It shattered confidence, disrupted global supply chains, and threw the entire auto industry into turmoil, with effects rippling far beyond North America. The shockwaves were immediate and severe, leaving workers, executives, and entire communities facing an uncertain and turbulent future. Volkswagen responded swiftly, suspending all vehicle exports from Europe and Mexico to the US. Not as a threat, but as a last resort, the company lamented the negative consequences for growth and prosperity, reminding the public of its major investments in US manufacturing. Imports stopped, but VW's Tennessee plant kept building the Atlas and electric ID.4, models that fit the America First vision. The brand's US lineup shrank overnight, with only domestically built vehicles remaining. Industry analysts called it a high-stakes gamble. VW is betting tariffs are here to stay and is reconfiguring its North American strategy. The move protects VW from ongoing losses, but comes at the cost of market share and consumer choice. This is a painful divorce from a market VW courted for over 70 years. The people's car is now, ironically, out of reach for many Americans. Volkswagen's move triggered panic across the industry. Mercedes-Benz suspended its financial forecast, citing political volatility and customer uncertainty. Infiniti stopped exports of key models from Mexico, and Stellantis paused production at North American plants, laying off hundreds of US workers. Automakers now face a dilemma: absorb the tariffs, raise prices, or overhaul supply chains, a process that takes years and billions in investment. The tariffs sparked a cycle of retaliation, with the EU and China imposing their own tariffs on American goods. This tariff stacking creates a vicious circle, escalating the conflict and threatening US exports. The policy meant to protect American industry has instead ensnared it in a global trade war. The fallout is spreading fast, with no easy way out. The human cost is immediate. Thousands of Americans at VW's 650 dealerships face layoffs as popular models vanish from showrooms. Local businesses, often family-owned, are hit hard by the sudden lack of inventory, slashing sales and commissions. The National Automobile Dealers Association warns of a perfect storm for its members, with some facing closure. The pain ripples up the supply chain, affecting logistics workers, port operators, and truck drivers. Stellantis has already laid off hundreds, and experts fear more job losses as automakers pause imports. The policy designed to protect American jobs is, ironically, putting many at risk. The interconnected nature of the industry means a blow to one group quickly spreads to others. For American consumers, the trade war means fewer choices and higher prices. VW's exit removes affordable German-engineered options from the market, especially in sedans and compact SUVs. With less competition, prices rise. Analysts project imported cars could cost thousands more, squeezing middle-class families. Even domestic models are expected to get pricier as competition dwindles. The timing is tough for buyers seeking fuel-efficient or electric vehicles. Tariffs and existing subsidies now lock out most imported EVs. The result: slower adoption of cleaner technology and a less competitive market. The promise of better deals is translating into fewer options and higher costs. The American car buyer is caught in the crossfire of a high-stakes geopolitical conflict. Industry leaders and analysts are sounding the alarm. Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz call the tariffs a direct threat to growth, while analysts warn of a trade war with no winners. The fear: a long-term decoupling of North American and European economies, freezing foreign investment and damaging business relations for years. Pre-tariff estimates suggested a 25% tariff could cost U.S. carmakers $108 billion and cut production by nearly 18 million units. These aren't just numbers, they represent a potential hollowing out of a vital American industry. Experts agree protectionism in a global industry like automaking is economically destructive. There's no such thing as a purely American car. Tariffs disrupt intricate supply chains and raise costs at every step. The consensus is clear. The current path leads to a smaller, less competitive, and more isolated U.S. auto industry. As the dust settles, the future of the American auto industry is uncertain. Volkswagen's exit is a landmark event, exposing the real-world costs of the trade war: fewer choices, higher prices, and job losses. The America First policy, meant to protect, is cutting deep into the economy it aimed to shield. The big question: is this permanent, or can diplomacy reverse the damage? If tariffs persist, more companies may follow VW's lead, making the industry less efficient and innovative. The dream of affordable advanced cars is threatened by policies that build economic walls. The choices made now will define the automotive landscape for a generation. Staying informed and engaged is the first step toward finding a better road forward.